So we'll start off on the ground here, okay? So remember, we want to kind of prep our lower body, our hips, our back. I'm going to keep my core tight, like I'm bracing for a punch. And I'm going to bridge my hips up and squeeze. My hips are evenly up, so my right is not higher than my left, or vice versa. Core is tight, and my lower back touches the ground nicely even. I press through my feet. I really want to emphasize squeezing glutes and kind of feeling a nice opening up here in the front of my hips as I pull my hips down and up. I inhale as they come down, I exhale as they come up. And then my feet are about shoulder width range. Good. Per repetition, if you can get your hips a little bit higher, great, but without extending through your spine. Good job. One more. Okay, so just extend one leg out straight. So drop your butt, extend one leg out. Now I want you to point your toe towards your face, towards your shin, and squeeze your quad as hard as you can. Bring your leg up as high as you can, keeping it completely straight. Try to feel that stretch in the back of the thighs. Now, I want you to drive through your heel and squeeze your leg a little bit more straight. Okay. Now, good. Now you're going to bring it down. Just barely kiss the ground with your heel. And then bring it back up. And remembering the priority here is to keep your leg as straight as possible. Think about exhaling as you chop up, inhaling as you chop down. There we go. And really drive through your heel and focus on squeezing that quad as much as you possibly can. Two more, and then you can switch legs. Good. Okay, basically swap. Make sure that you feel your glute and your lower back in contact with the ground. Good. Now try to see if you can keep the leg a little bit more strict. I mean, straight as possibly can be by focusing on squeezing the top of your thigh, even if it means it doesn't get your heel as high. You want to feel the stretch in the hamstring and maybe even in the calf.
Ooh, I'm feeling it.
Okay, good.
They're tight.
We'll work on that a little bit here. One more. All right, good. Now remember, you're going to go into that seated position, and I'm basically going to form two 90-degree angles with my my shins and my thighs. So I make like these little boxes. The knee is basically in front of the hip, and the shin is making a 90-degree angle with my thigh. Same thing here. Now I'm going to rotate, and like for example, my right thigh is in front. I'm going to think about getting my left shoulder to align over my right knee, or thinking about bringing my left rib cage over my right knee, and just feel a nice little stretch in the pocket of your hip. I don't want to extend my neck to the ground. I want to try to remain as long through my spine as possible without rounding my back, and just feel that little stretch in the pocket. Yeah, so think about your spine being as long as it could possibly be, like you're telescoping your spine. And then make a big open chest and pull your shoulder blades down. And then exhale. And try to feel that little stretch in that pocket. Try one more. Beautiful. And now you're just going to swap sides.
I actually did this one several times last week because it felt so good.
Good. And I got a couple of variations you can add on that once you start feeling pretty confident with that.
Hi, honey. I'm doing my kettlebell workout. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
You know,
All right. Thank you.
So what do you want
Not right now. I'll tell you in a minute.
And nice job. Now, let's go to a kneeling pose, or excuse me, a crawling pose. And then I'm gonna extend one leg out. It's basically gonna be even with my knee, so my toe kind of aligns with this knee. And then I'm gonna just rock straight back, not towards the heel of the bent knee. Just exhaling, my foot is flat on that long leg. And I'm just pushing back, like almost like squatting. Keep the hip to the inside of the bent knee. That make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh,
You could
yeah. Oh, yeah.
probably slide your left leg out more. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Oh, yeah.
Exhale, push back. And squeeze the top of your left leg.
I feel that stretch.
The big exhale. There we go. Just a few more.
Woo!
Now
little
bring
move could
the leg
really
in nice
get-
and slow. Good. Now you can bring that long leg in nice and slow now. So bring your left knee to the ground. Kind of reposition. Yep. And then you kind of want to butterfly your leg out. So like basically get your knees as far apart as you possibly can with them being on the ground, and then lift your right leg. So I kind of want to go into like almost like a frog position. Like I'm going to walk my knees out as much as I can. Okay, great. That's about as much as I can without feeling some discomfort. And then I'm going to extend my leg. Then I'm going to rock back. Ooh, wow. Yowzers. That one's definitely more tight. Even for me. Wow. Gotta pay attention to that. And think about keeping your left hip to the inside of your left heel as you rock back. Exhale as you push back. Try to make your spine a little more straight. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Nice job. Let's go back to that crawling position. And then let's just kind of focus on those little pelvic motions. Like I'm pouring water out of a bucket and then I'm stopping it from pouring. So just those little pelvic rotations there. You're probably gonna find it a little hard not to move anywhere else. Like I'm not bending my elbows. I'm not really moving my shoulders or my head. I'm just really trying to isolate that little pelvic roll. And then once I really nail that, I got some good range, I can start introducing a little bit more of my mid back. When I think about kind of that arching pattern, pouring out pattern, sticking out my belly. Arching pattern, pouring out, sticking out my belly. Okay? And then we'll just work your way up your spine. So just start off with the little hip motions as much as possible. Let's try to keep the spine basically in the same position. Think about exhaling as you push your belly to the ground, inhaling as you arch your back to the ceiling. And try not to move forward or backwards, just try to really isolate the pelvic motion. There we go. Now, if you were to kind of envision your spine, I want you to think segment by segment, working your way up into your mid back. You're gonna, every 2 to 3 repetitions, you're gonna move up one more segment of your spine. Good. And then when you go into the cow position, try to open your chest and start to look forward a little bit. So extend your spine to the ground, like good. Basically make your spine like a little bit of a hammock when you're in cow, good. Now you're gonna roll, now look, tuck your chin, press through the floor, spread your shoulder blades really wide. Okay, now tuck that tailbone, lean forward a little bit. What? Okay, yeah, that's good. Good, I want you to go back into that cat. And I want you to kind of pull yourself forward a little bit, pull your body weight forward, squeeze your glute, press the earth away, lock out your elbows, tuck your chin, and now pour the water out and make your spine like a hammock. It's just hanging there. Open chest, chin is all the way up. Let's do one more just like that. That was really nice. Lean forward a little bit so you can squeeze your glutes and spread your shoulder blades wide. And then tuck your tailbone. And extend, open up the chest, really stick out your belly like you're very full, like you got a Buddha belly. There you go. And relax. Nice job. Nice job. Okay. How you feel?
Good, I'm hot.
Yeah, you've got good, well, I guess you're warmed up.
I'm warmed up.
You've got good control of your joints. That's good because yes, we are a total body unit, but we need to be able to articulate our joints independently so that we can kind of hone in on where we need to bring more strength into versus like dominating with something all the time. So that's really good control of the joints, especially the spine. It's very true. Okay. So if you remember, as a little reminder here, our first initial movement is hinging when we're almost thinking about exclusively hip hinging right now. So the idea is that I don't really bend my knees so that my shins continue to work towards my feet as I descend. My shins are basically stuck like in cement buckets, and I just push the hips back. So if I want to move through my hips, I can give myself some tactile feedback. I want to be tall and about shoulder width apart, slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Tall position and chop into the hip, keeping the knee soft. I'm going to push back through my hips, literally through my hands, until I feel that nice activation of my hamstrings. It's a stretching sensation. My rule is that as soon as I stop moving my hips, I don't continue to drop my shoulders. So don't warm up. You'll probably be able to get more range per rep. Let's keep the chin neutral. So we keep it like it's one line from the top of our head to our tailbone at all times. And then when I stand up all the way and I squeeze my butt. Good. Let's keep that chin a little bit more tucked as you hinge. Right. Good. Squeeze your legs straight. Squeeze your glutes. Like you're becoming a pillar when you get to that tall position. Boom. Good. One more. Yep. Act like you're going to touch the wall behind you with your butt. Okay. At the top position, I want to think about, and this is in general too, I want to think about stacking joints. So my shoulders are going to stack over my hips are going to stack over my knees are going to stack over my ankles. But like here, this is an exaggeration of what you're doing. But now my shoulders are behind my hips, right? So I'm giving myself the impression that I'm actually extending through my hips when all I'm really doing is leaning back more, but then I'm compressing my back. So at the top position, you're kind of like doing this with your spine. So let's try to keep a height for me so that my spine stays neutral at the top position. So I move through my hip and I don't move through my spine. Let's try that again. So I want you with a tight tummy at the top. Good. All right, try to feel the load in the hamstrings as you push back. Don't really worry about dropping your shoulders down. Good. Try to look forward. Don't look at the camera. It's going to alter your mechanics. Good. Squeeze. Core tight at the top. Like I'm going to come up and punch you in your tummy at the top. So you're going to squeeze really firm, okay? Good. Let's try one more. Beautiful. Okay, great. So now we take our kettlebell and we're doing the same exact thing in terms of the movement, but now we're just picking up the object. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So I basically want to try to pick this bell up where it has a most straight line for the shortest trajectory, right? That's basically about at the arches of my feet or at the balls of my feet. I like to say if I look down, I just see the belly of the bell, okay? And I do the same thing all the time. Core is tight, I move back. But now I have to reach for my kettlebell. So I make the longest arms possible, like orangutan arms, and I'm going to grab the handle with my hands pretty darn close to one another. Okay? And then I'm going to act like I'm going to crack that handle in half. So that sets my shoulders. Now the bell is connected to me. My shoulders are not in front of the kettlebell, because now I can lift my heels really easy. I want to kind of lean back into it and feel the sensation in my hamstrings of tension, engagement. That's called the wedge. When I start to swing the kettlebell, that's what's going to stop me from falling backwards or getting pulled with the kettlebell. So all we're going to do right now is work on finding your wedge. Once again, I'm going to be over the top. I can give myself a little gut check, make sure I'm squeezing my tummy. Keep it activated, hinge. Reach down with the straightest arms possible. Crack the handle, and I feel the tension in my hamstrings. Most of the time, if you don't, you're probably leaning too far forward. Think shoulder over handle, core tight. Feel your feet pressing down through the floor. Just find your wedge. Don't stand up quite yet. Yeah, so that bell is probably a little bit away from you. Yeah, right there. Okay, now grab the handle. Okay, now the bell should be on the ground. Okay, now crack the handle. Crack the handle in half, like a pretzel log. Good. Now lean your weight back into your hips a little bit more. Good. Okay, without the bell, stand up. Okay, yeah, so bring that bell between the arches of your feet, essentially. Put it over there now. Probably even a little further back. Yeah, okay, cool. Now, brace your abs tight, hinge, and then when you reach down with the straightest arm as possible, you should be able to grab that handle. Good, now crack your handle. Now lean into your hips so that your shoulder is directly above the handle of the kettlebell. Good. Now pause right there. You feel your feet rooted. Raise your hips up ever so slightly. What? Yeah, raise your hips up a little bit. Look down, look forward. Lean back a little bit with your body weight. Right there. Now feel the tension in your hamstrings. I want you to think you're pushing the earth away. Make a big open chest. Yes, right there. That's where your setup is going to be. Relax for a moment. Don't stand up with the bell. When you made your big chest, your shoulders went and your spine went straight. So that cracking of the handle is meant to depress your shoulder and straighten your spine. I said make a big chest, and that worked for you. So when you're down there, you don't want to look like a dog that's pooping. You want to have a nice long spine, because that long spine is going to be a little bit easier to load than a bent curvy one where I'm going to probably be straining myself.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into that hinge and let's make the big chest. And I want you to feel your hamstrings loaded. So you're going to load your hips up a little bit more. Big chest. Good. Now raise your hips up a little bit and feel the load in your hamstrings. Now sit back. Now hips up. Hips up, hips up. Right there. Now lean back. Right about there. Core tight. Pressure through the floor. And now stand up with the kettlebell. Good. Now at the top. Good. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your legs, squeeze your core. Now as you initiate the movement, move through your hips and put the bell right in between your arches again. Straight down. Now reset. Relax for a moment. Okay, so what I want to do is basically stay in a groove. Okay, I want my reps to look the same. The reason, what's it? They are not mutually exclusive. If I'm here and I pack my shoulders and I settle in, I can raise my hips without leaning forward again. Right, so I'm here, I'm wedged, I raise my hips up. Now I feel the tension when I want to. So just because you raise your hips doesn't mean you need to lean forward, okay? So keep that in mind.
Okay.
And when in that position, I like out. I become a tree trunk. My quads are squeezing, my core is tight, my glutes are squeezing, I'm pinching the penny between my butt cheeks. Now as I initiate the movement, I want to do what I did the first drill. I want to hinge back and put that kettlebell right back where I got it from. So it's like in a groove. So I want to think probably right in between my ankle bones. What I don't want to do is bend my knees and then drop it. I want to do the same pattern I did from here. If I go back to that movement as the building block for everything else, I'm going to be good. Okay, so make sure you feel tension in your hamstrings. And then when you're doing the repetitions, I'm picking it up and putting it down in the same exact place every single time. And I feel the sensation in my hamstrings before I pick it up every single time. Begin. Okay, now lean back a little. Good. That's a nice lockout. Now hinge and bring the bell and gently tap it to the floor. And then don't lean forward. See how you're leaning forward? Try to keep right there, like you're in a slot, in a groove. Drive up. Squeeze. Now put back and go right back to that position you were just in. And drive up and squeeze. Good. Hinge, controlled on the way down. Squeeze your armpit muscles, pulling that bell into your body. Big chest. Right. Now drive. Squeeze. Try not to shrug with your shoulders at the top. 2 more. Put it right back where you got it from, like in between your ankle bones. 2 more. Push back the bell a little bit more in between your ankles. Right there. Now drive up. And then put it right back where you just got it from. And then drive up again. And then you can park it. Yes. Because there, your shoulder, elbow, wrist, kettlebell, one line. Versus out in front of you a little bit there, where it was kind of pulling you forward. When I say groove, that's what you're essentially kind of looking for. Where does the position of my body where I can make essentially Xeroxes of the same movement over and over and over, because that's what's going to give you some efficiency. Okay, so I basically want to try to have the same repetition every single time. So I need to think about, where am I picking up the kettlebell and where am I putting it down? And then I need to think about me pushing the hips back initially. But probably the easiest cue is to think about, I'm going to pick up the kettlebell and put it down in the same exact place every single time. You know, if it's on your carpet, it might be making like a little circle on the bottom, like a smashed carpet. Yeah. Think about that. Put it right back into that little circle every single time. Okay, let's try another 5, just like that. Yeah, find that starting point, and I'll tell you what a good one is too, so that your shoulders are stacked over the bell. Good setup. Back shoulders, good. Put it right back where you got it from by hinging. Core tight, and drive up. Good. Squeeze those lats. Big chest. Good. 2 more. Nice. Squeeze those legs nice and straight. Good. And park it like you're going to do another rep and you change your mind. Okay, that was it right there. You found a slot and you're able to make the repetitions look like copies of each other. Okay?
Yep.
Now, I'm kind of hitting the gas just a little bit. What I want you to think about is, you know, I can push you or I can push you. Okay? We want to do more of a number 2. We want to be explosive. So we're going to work the stand-up position is going to be fast for you. And then your hinging is going to be the same speed that you were just doing. So I'm going to get my ready position, get my hinge back, set, stand up fast by driving through the hips. Hinge slow. Gentle hover, like the bell is just hovering, kissing the ground. Squeeze really fast by driving hips forward. Hips are going forward. I'm not throwing my shoulders back. Hips are driving forward. Squeeze. Clenching everything. Own the top position. Hinge. Gentle kiss. Squeeze. I can feel both quads squeezing. My butt cheeks are squeezing. I'm tall. My abs are braced. Hinge. Gentle kiss. Drive up again, okay?
Okay.
Think power. Good. And control. So I want you to emphasize that core tension at the top.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure I did that right. but okay.
No, that was good. Good. Heels are down. Keep the belt tighter, landing in between those feet again. Right there. One more. And relax. Yeah. The only thing that you're doing a little of is opening up. Okay? So let's try a drill. Go to your back. You're gonna reach out. Lift. Shorten the distance by pulling the ribs down towards your belly button. So there's no arch in your lower back on the ground. Your back is completely flat. And I'm just gonna very gently bring my foot down, alternating, but emphasizing rib cage to belly button. See, this is actually pretty challenging, trying to stay very stiff in my midsection so that my spine is not moving. So you're bracing hard and your lower back is flat. And as you drop a toe, it's going to want to open more and you're going to prevent that. Okay, good. That was easy for you. Now bring both knees and feet off the ground. Bring the feet off both. Good. Now reach for the ceiling with your hands. Now bring your right arm behind you and your left leg down. Long leg. Long left leg. Off the deck. Get it off the ground. Get your hand and your foot off the ground. Yeah. Now squeeze your abs and bring it back together. Now repeat that. Don't flex your spine. Don't lift your head off the ground. There we go. Resist the urge for your lower back to lift by pulling the ribs down. Squeeze. 2 more. And then you're going to swap sides. Swap sides. Rib cage is down. Core is tight. Lower back is in contact with ground. All right, good. How'd that feel?
Good.
Good. Think about what you were just doing there by
Yeah.
pulling those ribs down and feeling that activation and do
Yeah.
it in a standing up position. So instead of being here, opening, I'm just going to shorten it a little bit. My abs are tight. And when I do that, I also kind of move my pelvis in a little way that makes me squeeze my glutes. So this is something that you'll learn how to do. You'll learn how to do rib cage to belly button, but then eventually kind of like tailbone to sternum. Because my glutes are squeezed core is tight, which is going to be a position that you do a lot of. Okay, so just emphasize keeping that core nice and tight to top position. Don't let, as soon as you fully extend your hips, you're done. You don't need to extend through your back anymore. Or your spine. Squeeze, good. Squeeze, core tight. Inhale, squeeze your quads really fierce. Boom. 2 more. And relax. Okay, great. Check it off a little bit. So now you have a little bit of that faster stand up and you're learning how to move through the hips explosively, which is the swing. The top of that movement, the top of that deadlift, and the top of my swing, my body, everything's the same. The position of the bell is different. The bell is facing out that way versus facing down to the ground. That's the only real difference between the deadlift and the swing. So you know the ending position of the swing. Let's think about the beginning position of the swing. So we've been over the bell. Now we're going to be approximately arm's length distance around the bell, from the bell. I basically want to make a little tripod. Foot, kettlebell, tripod. Everything is the same. I'm a little wider on my feet, core tight, hinge back. So I've been doing kettlebells for almost 15 years and I still do this. So it's something that you should just put into it because it's going to trigger the things that you need to start doing in your head so that you know exactly what you're doing on the ground here. So I'm going to hinge back, but I'm not going to reach for the bell. I'm going to kind of settle in into my hips. So don't come forward, grab the bell and lean back into it. And if you notice, the kettlebell goes to an angle. So half of it is basically on the edge of the kettlebell there. But I do just like I did in my deadlift. I crack the handle. Now I find that wedge position. That same position I felt that tension when I was having you hold it. I want you to find that now with the kettlebell for the swing.
Yeah.
Core tight, hinge, settle in, adjust my hips so I can feel the tension of the hamstrings and the sensation of my feet pushing down through the floor. Okay, now sink into your hips and tilt that bell. Good. Make that big chest. Good. Now lean back into your hips a little more. Good. Now raise your hips up until you feel that stretching sensation in your hammies. And then you might need to lean back a little bit more. Lean back a tad. And if that bell drags to you a little bit, that's a good thing. Let it drag to you by packing your shoulders down. Good. And now you can relax. Good. Now you are going to be swinging that bell. It's kind of a weird angle, but just make sure that your knees aren't too narrow. They're a little wider than your hips. Yeah, because you got to swing through, right? Let's try that setup again. And then sink into your hips. Lats are really firing up. So I'm making the big chest, shoulders down, cracking the handle. And relax. Okay, so now you're going to swing the bell. So you have to find that rooted position so that you don't stumble forward or backwards, okay? You want to feel like you're cemented to the floor with your feet, right? Okay. Now I got to wind up here and I got to hike that bell, something fierce between my legs because essentially my hamstrings become like a bow and arrow. When I hike the bell, all that tension that you just felt is like a bow being pulled to shoot the arrow. And then I center my hips really fast, and that's where the arrow goes flying. But I really got to throw the bell back. So we call it swimming the bell. So when I have it packed, I'm going to use those muscles like I'm swimming through the water. By pulling, I'm going to pull that kettlebell with my arms through my lats. So I'm going to hike it. So I'm going to have you try 5 hikes. So notice how I didn't like fall, right? Yeah. And then I put it right back where I got it from without it going dum, right? I didn't do whoa dunk. It just went right back to the edge, like I was starting over. Okay, give that a try. Can you maybe move back a little bit or tilt down a little bit? I want to be able to see the bell a little bit more.
Do I see the bell? Oh.
Yeah, if you can tilt down just a tad. Right about there. Let's see. Good. Lean back. Good. Gentle. So the bell should be at an angle right now. Should be at an angle tilted towards you. Now, but bring it closer to you. Right about there. And that's where it wants to land too. Hike. And then back. Hike. And then back. Now give it a good oomph, like you're going to throw up through the wall. There you go. One more. Good. See, what size bell is that?
That is the smallest.
That's the
blue.
8 kilo, so like 16 pounds,
Yeah.
18 pounds.
18.
Do you have the one up?
I can go get it.
Can you go get it really fast?
Yep.
It's gonna be too easy. Hoi.
I said Lori's doing good. I'm glad she's feeling better.
Just so coachable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like she listens. What were you saying today? It was like womp 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 womp. All right.
Okay.
Just because I know you're strong. Sometimes the weights, when they're a little bit heavier, the movements are easier because you can feel it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend if you don't have a mat to get a yoga mat or something like that, so that you don't worry about your floors or anything like that either.
I will.
All right, so
Okay.
do exactly what you just did. Just remember that this is about 24 pounds, 26 pounds.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. There we go. 3, 4, 5, and relax. Okay. Great. Okay. So now you hike the bell. Your arms attached to your body. Now you got to get to the deadlift position as fast as possible. So that's your swing. So now this is like a punch. Okay. Quick. Field hockey, right?
Yep.
Like if you're going to try to like make a shot, you're not going to go, ooh, right? It'd be fast and quick and powerful, right?
Yes.
That's basically what you want to think here. I'm trying to get to the top position as fast as possible. And then I own that top position for like a second. And then the bell reattaches to me. The secret of getting a good swing is finding out the rhythm. You got to find your rhythm. And that takes a little while. Okay. So when I'm here, I go into my setup. And I just threw my arms, pretend I have a kettlebell. I just threw my arms into my body. Now they're still attached. Pow! I stood up as fast as I possibly could, and I snapped. Squeezing fast. That's going to launch that kettlebell off my body. It's going to hit an apex, usually just above parallel. You want that little bit of above parallel, because now you have about 10 to 5 degrees that you can catch it. And now I'm waiting. And then my elbows or my biceps reattach to my body, my ribs, and I start to hinge back. Now I don't put it on the ground. What most people do is they lift it, don't stand up all the way, push their butt back here. We want to connect ourselves to the bell. Not this. Those are just some over effort shoulder raises. Your shoulders aren't doing anything. So hike it as hard as you can, and then explode up as much as you can.
Okay.
3, 4, 5. Relax. Okay.
I couldn't see that.
That wasn't the best view, but from what I did see, it looked kind of good. Let's see here.
See if we can, the happy medium.
Yeah, that would be good. Maybe if you face me parallel to your bed.
This
even a
way?
little bit more. Yeah, like right about there. And then just make sure you don't hit yourself on your footboard. Okay, great.
Okay.
Squeeze. One more. Relax. Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now what? We're going to work. I can give you like 50 cues, but you're not going to be able to digest 50 cues. So we're going to work from the ground up. Okay. Probably most notably, it's going to be quads. So when I get to that, when I'm starting to get to that tall position, I want to think crack of a baseball bat. I mean, quick pull up of the knees and get to extension. Solid as a rock. And that's all I'm really focusing on for 5 repetitions is quick quad squeeze of the leg.
Okay.
Good. Relax. Not bad. Do you feel like you're lifting it with your arm a little bit more?
No.
Kind of looks
it
like
look
you're
like
lifting it. Your arms are kind of like ropes. My lat is packed. This is tight, but my arms are a little bit more relaxed. So
Okay.
focus on getting those legs nice and straight. Just relax your arms a little bit.
Okay.
They're ropes, but your lats are packed. Lean back into it. Tilt the belt towards you. And better. 4, 5. Relax. Okay. Now we're getting a good squeeze of our quad. Let's go back to what we're having a little trouble with the deadlift, which is the extension in the spine at the top, the lifting open. So now that you got your legs squeezing, don't forget that. But now, rib cage down, tight, like you're bracing for a punch. Come on, man, hit me. Tighten at the top position, like you're planking while standing up.
Okay.
3, 4, 5. Good. Okay, good. Little shake off there. I need to find rhythm. The trademark of the good swing is the float. And what I mean by that is that you're done working and the bell is still ascending. And then it comes down and you're still at that top position because that's your worked in rest, because we do high volume of these. You need some kind of rest in the actual exercise, not just a rest period. You need a little bit of a break in the actual exercise. It's worked into that by the float. So let me use it. This bell's back better for it. Here, see how it's still ascending after I'm tall? I want that. Then I want to wait till it reattaches to me before I go back again. So savor that time where your arm disconnects, gravity takes over, and then the bell reconnects. Savor that top position as much as possible.
Okay.
Let's try 5. Just be a little more patient waiting for your arms. And relax. Better. Okay. Little shake off there. And then you did quads, you did core. Now you're going to do glutes. The glutes and your hip is the most important part. I don't want to be squeezing these guys like I'm pinching a penny in between my butt cheeks at the top. And I come to that full extension. It's like I want to broad jump across the room, okay? I really want to extend through those hips so that my glutes are completely clenched. You'll know if you're doing a good job if this bottom is really fired up. Not just up here, but the actual bottom of your butt cheek is squeezing really hard. That's how you're gonna know you're nailing it. Primary mover here is gonna be those hip bones and your glutes. So let's really emphasize hard power snapping. Quick squeeze, like a punch. And you watch how that bell snaps off your body more effectively so you can get that float. Snap, 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 and relax. Okay, good job. Little breather. Okay, so let's talk about like intention here. You know, I was joking with you when we were chatting over email, and you're like, cardio, I didn't sign up for that. And I was like, well, I should explain to her. So swings often get, categorized as a cardio exercise. But what it really is a power endurance exercise. And what I mean by that is you have power, you have strength, and you have endurance, right? Power, is a maximal effort, right? Or a maximum amount of energy delivered in a short amount of time. So once again, the analogy of pushing versus pushing, right? I want to build my endurance and able to duplicate power over and over and over again. So it's going to wind me because I'm delivering so much energy for so many repetitions, but it's an even dosage every single time. That's how you want to navigate swings. Swings are, can I deliver the same amount of power per repetition without deterioration of power and technique? So if I start flopping around and I just can't get my rhythm, chances are I'm pretty tired because you start to lose those motor skills when you start to fatigue, right? So what I want to do as I practice is hone in, am I able to keep my technique high? And is every rep that I'm doing delivering the same amount of energy so that I'm efficient? Because the only way you're going to get through some of the, timed workout stuff where you have to do a decent amount of volume is to be efficient. If you're doing all your energy in the first 20 reps and you got 80 to go, it's going to be a long 8 minutes, right? I got to learn how to kind of like marathon it. Like a marathoner doesn't sprint right out the gates, right? You find pacing. And that's what a lot of this practice is going to be about, is finding rhythm, pacing, your groove, your mojo, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be, how do I feel when I do the motions, and getting familiar with that. So if I walk into the room, I don't know if you're on your 10th rep or your 100th rep because they look exactly the same. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So look at it as a refinement idea for now. I want you to refine it as much as possible so that you can get very comfortable with it. So when I ask you to do higher volumes, you're like, okay, that might be a challenge in the beginning, but I can get there. Versus kind of like smashing your body just to get reps. Well, I did 100 reps. Yeah, but 20 of them were kind of crappy, or only 20 of them were good. The rest were kind of crappy. I'd rather have 10 really nice ones than 90 kind of okay ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's the quick explosive movement. That's like the yang. The yin is going to be your get up. Your get up is going to be more strength, total body engagement for duration, not for quick, powerful things. And that's what's a nice balance between the two exercises. You're training two kind of systems, and it keeps a really good balance for just general fitness, athleticism. When you hinge really deep into your swings, you're going to notice that you're getting a little bit more flexible in your hamstrings because you keep pulling your hamstrings, and now they're strong under long tension too. So you're getting flexibility when you're not almost intentionally working on flexibility. And the same thing with get-ups. You're going to be moving through your hips. You're going to be moving through your spine. You're going to get some shoulder mobility. It's all intertwined within the exercises. But once again, it comes down to, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to be intentional with refinement and getting really good and noticing what feels good to me versus what doesn't feel so good to me. But that's practice, okay? So Ideally, when you are practicing, it's Lori time. You're in the zone because that's just going to make your progress a lot more exponential than just linear. Honing in, being focused, being determined to make things look really pretty. If you're an athlete, you think about people in the top tier. They make the impossible look easy, right? And then you try to like replicate that and you're not even close. But you don't see the thousands and thousands of reps they put in before that to make that skill look easy. And that's what you should think about. I want to make this look as easy as possible, even though you're doing something tremendously hard. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
So you have this recording. It'll be a good guide. And I'm going to, we'll put that into your calendar. And then I'm going to dump the workout in there too. It's going to be like basically a practice workout. So that would get you understanding, okay, this is what a workout looks like in here. This is how I log what resistances I use. And then this also is how many reps I did. I'm going to start low, and then you can tell me if it was easy or not. I would definitely use the second bell, the bigger bell, because you're strong and you know how to move your body. And you got to get used to like, oh, I need to feel the resistance to actually get the benefit of the exercise.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll be dumped into your calendar. And I saw you scheduled this one. Did you schedule another one later in the week? Today's
Nope.
Wednesday.
Is the link in the app, or do you need to send it to me?
Well, I did. It's in your welcome packets and stuff, but I've been scheduling yours.
Okay. So I don't have one scheduled after today.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little bit of practice because I'm actually not available on Friday. So I'm going to give you a little bit of practice. So this will be a good way to build up some good repetitions. Because essentially what I like to do is to see if I can introduce the initial components of the get up with you the next time we meet.
Okay.
So you can probably, today's Wednesday, you can get at least 2 to 3 practice sessions before maybe Monday, perhaps.
Okay.
So that we can get some solid reps in. So I'll send you an email with taking a look at my schedule to get you dropped in for one of those. Now, are you going back to work next week, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get back this week. So.
Oh, okay, good.
We all
Okay,
are.
cool. Yeah, we all are. Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I'll send you a time for Monday. I'll dump that stuff into your calendar, and it'll get you more familiar with the how to navigate the whole app and everything too.
Okay.
Lori, I'll resend you the link just
Okay.
so you have it accessible. Maybe save it like somewhere.
Yeah, I will.
Any
And
questions?
No, I don't think so. I need to do a better job of familiarizing myself with the app, so I will do that.
Okay, perfect. Then perfect timing then.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And if you wanted to, we can set up a time to chat, or we could just wait till you're done afterwards. Up to you.
After my 4 sessions, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say if you wanted to before Monday, but tomorrow's only, yeah. If you wanted to before Monday, if not, we can wait till afterwards. If you need a little more time to get acclimated, that's fine.
Yeah, let me get acclimated because I missed a whole week, and so it was like I did one and then I didn't do anything, and now today was like, oh, I'm kind of starting over. So.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better and have energy again.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. So.
Yeah, you're doing, I mean, I gotta tell you, like seeing the way you're moving, the way that you take coaching again, like this is exciting because just staying consistent, you're going to see a nice big jump really fast. And that's exciting for a coach, especially because then that means we can teach her, well, we can teach you more fun stuff.
Yeah, Vanessa's like, oh, we might have a good testimonial. That's what Vanessa's thinking.
Yes.
Networking.
Yeah.
So good.
All right, cool.
So, all right. Well, thank you both. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Happy
Lori. Take
New Year.
care. Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year. Have a great night. Thanks.
You too.
All right,
Bye.
buddy.
Bye.
Hold on. Recording. Record. Stop recording.